नमस्कार मित्रों, गुड आफ्टरनून टू एवरीवन एंड वेरी वार्म वेलकम। आप सबका स्वागत है। मैं एक बार फिर से क्षमा चाहता हूँ देर से आने के लिए। मैं आपको विश्वास दिलाना चाहता हूँ, आश्वस्त करना चाहता हूँ कि इट्स नॉट अ हैबिट फॉर मी टू टर्न अप लेट, बट yeah, something I was caught up somewhere else. So let us begin this press conference now. I will have a few announcements to make in the beginning, and then of course we'll come to your questions. My first announcement is about the forthcoming visit of the Prime Minister to Portugal, which will take place on the 24th of June 2017. This will be a working visit. While the Prime Minister will be in Lisbon on 24th June, he will hold official talks with the Prime Minister of Portugal, His Excellency Dr. Antonio Costa. We are working on several documents to strengthen India-Portugal economic, scientific, and cultural engagement, and we expect to finalize and sign these documents, essentially which are in the nature of memoranda of understanding. As you know, India and Portugal enjoy warm and friendly relations. The two countries share historic and common cultural ties with a strong people-to-people connect. The visit of the Prime Minister Costa to India in January 2017 had imparted a new momentum to the relationship. During the forthcoming visit of the Prime Minister to Portugal, we look forward to continuing that momentum. And you would also recall that Prime Minister Costa had been the chief guest at the Pravasi Bharati Divas, where he was awarded the Pravasi Bharati Samman. This was in the context of his family roots in Goa. So we look forward to a very action-filled and useful, productive, successful visit of the Prime Minister to Netherlands to Portugal on 24th June. You already know about Prime Minister's visit to the United States, which we had announced a few days earlier. From Portugal, the Prime Minister will travel to the United States, and from United States, he will travel to the Netherlands, which is my second announcement today. The Prime Minister will be visiting the Netherlands on 27th June 2017. The visit assumes significance as India and Netherlands are celebrating 70 years of establishment of diplomatic relations this year. This will also be a working visit. While in The Hague, the Prime Minister will meet with the Dutch Prime Minister, His Excellency Mr. Mark Rutte, and hold official talks with him. He is also expected to call on the King of the Netherlands. Relations between India and the Netherlands are warm and friendly. Economic relations form the core of these relations. The Netherlands is a leading foreign investor in India, and a large number of Dutch companies are active in the Indian market. Similarly, a significant number of Indian companies are based in the Netherlands. So we look forward to boosting economic cooperation and relations, bilateral trade and investment, and of course cooperation in other areas of our bilateral relationship through this visit of the Prime Minister to the Netherlands on 27th June. My third announcement is essentially a sentence, which is about raising of the Indian flag at the SCO Secretariat at Beijing. You all are aware that India had gained formal entry as a full member in the Shanghai Cooperation Organization on the 9th of June, following when the Prime Minister had visited Astana. This had followed the endorsement of India's full membership and a decision to that effect, which was signed at Astana. And now, yesterday, the flag has been raised. India's flag has been raised at the SU Secretariat. This marks an important event in India's now new membership of SU and India's growing engagement in terms of regional cooperation on connectivity, security, and other areas of mutual interest in the region. Today, the External Affairs Minister met the Special Envoy of the President of the Republic of Korea, and the Basically, this, as you know, there have been recently elections in the Republic of Korea, South Korea, and a new government under a new president, Mr. Moon Jae-in, has taken charge. And we are very happy, and we'll look forward, we look at this visit of the special envoy of the president of South Korea as indicating the importance which South Korea attaches to the relations with India, and also the relationship with, and also the importance which India attaches to this relationship. The special envoy, Mr. Dong Chi Chung, is a veteran. He has been a close associate of former presidents and also the current president in his earlier capacities. He is also himself, he has been a member of parliament. And his discussions with the External Affairs Minister today covered a broad range of bilateral relations. You know that there is a very strong economic partnership between Republic of Korea and India. There is a strategic convergence. There is convergence of views on security, non-proliferation, terrorism, freedom of navigation in the seas, etc. So a number of thoughts were exchanged, views were exchanged in these areas. Both sides agreed that under the new regime in South Korea, the momentum will continue. In fact, a thrust will be given, and the visit of the special envoy itself is an indication of the priority which the new government and the new leadership of South Korea attaches to its relationship with India. And they have agreed that the momentum will be carried forward in the remaining part of this year through high-level exchanges. In particular, the possibility of holding the joint commission meeting, India-South Korea joint commission meeting was discussed. It was agreed that the two sides will strive to hold that meeting. My last announcement today is about an event which is likely to occur in the next couple of days. Normally, I don't make predictions, but I do sometimes give you important information on important events. You would recall that when President of Afghanistan, Mr. Ashraf Ghani, had visited India last year, there was discussion about establishing air freight corridor between the two countries. We are very happy to mention to you today that the first flight is likely to operate in the next couple of days. We are working out the details. The flight will take Indian products to Afghanistan and will bring Afghan products or products of Afghanistan to India. It will operate between Delhi and Kabul. As I mentioned, we are still in the process of finalizing details of the timing, but it is likely that this may take place either over the weekend itself or very early next week. At the moment, it looks like it could take place over the weekend. We will issue a media advisory, and there will be a warm reception accorded to this flight, which brings Afghan products to Delhi. As you know, these products, including agro products and dry fruits, are very popular in India. So whatever the time and when you are, we'll let you know. But my idea was basically to share with you at this stage the information that the first air freight corridor flight between Afghanistan and Delhi is now on the verge of becoming a reality. So with that, I stop here, having concluded all the three, four announcements I needed to make. Yes, and there is an early hand going up, and a few more.
This air freight corridor they'll have flights every day, or what is it going to be? Any idea? And won't it become very expensive? You know, goods will become expensive if you...
At the moment, I don't think the idea is to operate the flight every day. It has obviously to cater to the volume of the current goods. The idea of establishing a dedicated air freight corridor, that is essentially to operate a dedicated freight flight between India and Afghanistan was taken, or this decision was taken in view of the difficulties that we have on the ground in terms of connectivity between the two countries. And the trade is essentially in the goods in which Afghanistan is strong and in the products in which India is strong. So at the moment, the idea is to try and see if this can be with a frequency of, let's say, within a month or every fortnight. We will see. That's why this is sort of the first flight. It will see what is the viability of it. It is at the end of the day a commercial venture which is supported very heavily, very strongly, and very purposefully by both the governments. There were discussions held about which will be the operator. As far as I understand, it is the Afghan Airlines, Air Ariana, which is operating this one. But there could be others also later down the line. I'm not aware of those details, but this one is, I think, Ariana.
Will it overfly Pakistan airspace, or it will come by other routes?
My understanding is that it will overfly the Pakistan airspace. It's a civilian flight. It's a commercial flight. There are a lot of commercial flights, Indian, which originate in India and which originate elsewhere also, which come to India, that overfly Pakistan. Civilian chartered flights.
For that, you have to give proper information that what you are taking on that flight. But as far as I understand, that for that you have to give information to Pakistan that what things are being taken by that flight.
These are standard operating procedures, commercial flights, freight flights, cargo flights. There are very clearly stipulated procedures, and I'm sure the concerned flight operators or the companies which operate these flights and which make all these arrangements are looking into it. Manish?
सर, अगर आप हमें बता सके कि कुलभूषण जाधव के केस में कुछ अपडेट हुआ है क्या, क्योंकि पाकिस्तानी मीडिया के कुछ सेक्शन ये बता रहे हैं कि सर कुलभूषण जाधव को लेकर अगर इंटरनेशनल कोर्ट में कुछ अपडेट हुआ है जी
के बारे में कुछ कह रहे थे?
हाँ सर, पाकिस्तानी मीडिया के कुछ सेक्शन में ये बताया जा रहा है कि भारत को ज़्यादा टाइम देने की जो मोहलत थी वो नहीं दी गई है और पाकिस्तान को कहा गया कि वो केस जल्दी शुरू कर सकते हैं।
इससे संबंधित कोई सवाल और किसी के पास है? Does anybody have a question about this? या कल्लो?
The news also says that ICJ has Pakistan claims that Kulbhushan Jadhav, they are going to perhaps sort of speed up the process. That's what it looks like.
Sorry, who is going to
report from Pakistan?
Who is going to speed up the process?
The Pakistan authorities, because they are now denying that there is no restriction on them.
Achha. Good to have you, Kallol, reading that out, because normally it is I who should be reading out the answers, but it's rare that people read out the questions. It's good. It means that you are getting the information fresh and new, and it might be something which even I am not aware of these questions. Kulbhushan, yeah. Mike, Diji.
So some dates have also been given that the case will start in January 2018. I mean, can you clarify on that?
Okay. So essentially, Kulbhushan Jadhav questions are from the right honorables. That is the right if you are facing me. As you all are aware, in the Kulbhushan Jadhav matter, which is with the International Court of Justice in The Hague, there was a development on the 8th of June. Essentially, on that day, on 8th of June, the President of the International Court of Justice met the agents or the representatives of both the parties, that is India and Pakistan. It was not, as we had said earlier, it was not a full sitting of the court, like the proceeding which happened the last month when the court had, to use a common Palna word, stayed the execution of Kulbhushan Jadhav. Now, what transpired in that meeting is that these timelines were discussed. And as a result of these timelines, these discussions, where we submitted to the court for an early and expeditious proceedings in the matter, and we also pointed out a precedence of the Avina case, where 4 months had been given to the to one of the parties to submit its pleadings, which is called the memorial in the terminology used. After our submission and also submission by Pakistan in the regard to the timelines, the court has directed India to submit its memorial to, and I'm using the term used, I think, in the context of the court proceedings. The court has directed India to file its memorial in September 2017. There is a date, I think it is 13 September 2017, and they have asked Pakistan to do the same, a counter memorial, by December 2017. I think again it's 13 December 2017. So this is the factual situation. I don't think it is the report that you quoted, Kallol. I don't think that accurately reflects either the submission of India or the decision of the court. And certainly the interpretation that that we had wanted a certain timeline which has not been now contained in the court's directive in this matter, I don't think that impression is correct. As I mentioned, we ourselves had pointed out 4 months, and if you count from now, July, August, September, June, July, August, September, this is basically, essentially, that is the timeline which the court has granted us for filing our memorial. After that, what happens? That will be up to the court to decide. So first, it will be India's memorial, which court will receive in September, then Pakistan's counter memorial in December, or by December. That's what the court's directive is, and then the court will see if there is a requirement for further submissions and counter submissions, and then it will decide to hold the hearings. So whether the hearing is held, as you had asked, in January 2018 or not, that is a decision which the court will take after assessing both the memorial and the counter memorial, and whether there is a need for further documents to be filed with it. So at this stage, it is premature to say when the next hearing will take place. I hope that clarifies the matter sufficiently. Yes, memorial is basically what you submit to the court in support of your case.
My question is related to the constitution amendment in Nepal. In the recent month, there are several reports that there is a shift in India's position. Since the promulgation of constitution in Nepal, India was pressing to amend the constitution to address the Madhya-based parties, but there are reports that the Indian ambassador in Nepal also pressed Madhya-based parties to go for elections, putting amendment on hold. Is it true that there is shift in India's position regarding constitution amendment in Nepal?
May I, just for my information, may I know which media organization do you represent?
I am Kamaldev Bhattrai. I represent the Kathmandu Post.
Okay. कमलदीप जी, पहले तो तपाईको धेरै स्वागत छ। मलाई धेरै खुसी लाग्छ तपाईलाई यहाँ हेर्दा। Now the thing really is, I spoke in Nepali so as to soften my answer, which is coming now, because there I disagree with you on certain points. I don't agree with you, first of all, on the depiction of India's position in this matter, which is that India put pressure either on the government of Nepal or on the Madhesi groups. As you know, not from now, but for many years, and I go back to 2005 and 6 when the Nepali people brought the changes in Nepal through the Jan Andolan second. India's position has been very clear. It is up to the people of Nepal. They are the ones who drive the process. They are the ones who choose what they choose through a democratic process. All that India has supported, and we continue to support now, is the effort so that these aspirations of the Nepali people are fulfilled. Concretely, what it means? It means that we support the aspiration to have an inclusive political order, inclusive constitution, and consultations to arrive at such provisions which satisfy everyone. Consultations through which every party, every political segment, every view is taken on board. This is, and we support the efforts in that regard, whether these efforts are by the government of Nepal, by other political parties which are not part of the government of Nepal, or by other groups which are agitating or which are demanding their inclusion or inclusion of segments of the Nepali society in that process and in the reflection of their aspirations in the constitution of Nepal. So India's position is very clear. India's position has never been to pressure or to put pressure or to be prescriptive, कि हम ये सुझाव दें कि आप ये करिए या ये ना करिए. प्रेस्क्रिप्टिव पोजीशन हमने कभी नहीं फॉलो किया है. हमने खाली नेपाली लोगों की आकांक्षाओं को ध्यान में रखते हुए उनकी जो एस्पिरेशंस हैं उनके मुताबिक कैसा संविधान बने, इंक्लूसिव समावेशी संविधान बने, उसके लिए हमने कहा है कि सबसे बात करिए, सब लोगों को ऑन बोर्ड लीजिए, सारे पॉलिटिकल सेगमेंट्स को, जो भी कंसर्न है उससे उनसे बात करिए. कंसल्टेशन, इंक्लूसिवनेस, समावेशीकरण, ये हमारी पोजीशन के मूल आधार हैं, मूल स्तंभ हैं. To think that we have put pressure is where I beg to differ with you. And also to say that the Indian ambassador has told the Nepali people or the Madhesi people that they should join the process or they should contest the election, they should not contest the elections. I don't think that is a correct characterization of our situation in any way. We have been, of course, talking to all concerned in Nepal, all the political segments. We always talk to all the political segments, and the Indian embassy and the Indian ambassador are basically the presence on the ground. They do talk to, they remain engaged with. And when asked, they say that they advise along the lines that I have mentioned to you just now, which is India's position. So we have basically been supportive of the efforts of Government of Nepal to take forward the constitutional implementation process through dialogue and consultation and taking all sections of the Nepali society on board. As far as the current situation is concerned, we wish that the people and Government of Nepal every success in their national efforts to achieve peace, stability, and socio-economic transformation. We would continue to partner the government and people of Nepal in the common endeavor for better living standards for our people. I think this detailed answer would satisfy your question. Yes.
सर, सऊदी अरब में कुछ दिन पहले एक भारतीय नागरिक की हत्या कर दी गई. आरोप है कि कुछ पाकिस्तानी युवकों ने भारतीय नागरिक को मारा. इस संबंध में कोई डिटेल आपके पास है?
इस संबंध में हमारे पास कुछ प्राथमिक जानकारी आई थी, लेकिन पूरा विस्तार से भी जानकारी मेरे पास नहीं है. मैं आपसे ये प्रार्थना करूंगा कि आप अपना नंबर हमको दे दें एक बार फिर से. जो जानकारी मेरे पास और विस्तार में आएगी मैं अवश्य आपसे उसको शेयर करूंगा. परीक्षित.
Sir, could you give some details to us about the Prime Minister's US visit? Is he only going to be going to Washington, and about a bit about the business deals that could be signed during that time?
Does anyone else have a question related to the Prime Minister's visit to the US? Okay, Nainima, and after that, Pranay.
So will there also be an attempt to probably request the US side to revive the strategic and commercial dialogue, because there are reports that probably that will not be continued under the Trump era? Just thought on that.
So will Prime Minister be addressing any community event there in this US visit?
First of all, let me say that we are aware of the huge interest in this visit, and we think it is certainly commensurate with the significance of this visit. You all are very familiar with the strong fundamentals of India-US partnership. It's a multidimensional strategic partnership. It's a global partnership. It's in the interest of not only India and the United States, but also global peace, security, and prosperity. So this visit has its own significance because it will be the first visit of the Prime Minister to engage with the new leader, with the new president after the elections last year. And we both sides look forward to that. You would have seen the statement issued by us and also the statement issued in the United States, so I'm not going to repeat that, but just point out that all areas of bilateral cooperation and also concerning with the region, the global situation, security, terrorism, stability, all these things will be discussed. Now, in terms of the we look forward to this particular visit and the discussions with the Prime Minister with President Trump, providing a further impetus, and not only a further impetus, but further direction to this relationship. A further direction under the new leadership of the United States, and of course through the consultations and discussions and conversations between the Prime Minister Modi and President Trump. So we very much look forward to this relationship not only getting strengthened, but getting a new direction, the priorities, and also consolidating the gains that have been achieved over the past several years in this relationship. Now, coming to the specific questions of whether he is visiting only Washington, D.C., as of now, Washington, D.C. is the place which the Prime Minister will visit. However, I might say that the program is still evolving, as is not uncommon in case of bilateral visits, and especially such visits. There will be occasion to interact with the business. There will be occasion when the Prime Minister will be interacting with business leaders. Again, the details of the program are evolving, and we may be able to tell you or share more information with you a little later. As for the community event, I can tell you, because there has been some speculation in the media regarding this. Let me mention to you that in principle, the decision has been that the Prime Minister would interact or would have some sort of an interaction with the Indian community in the United States. Now, as you know, when the Prime Minister visits, in several of his visits, he has had community interactions, and in some of them, he hasn't had community interaction. For example, in the recent visits to Russia or Germany, he did not. So there is also the overall time calendar, the time factor, which guides where he would go, what type of program he would have. So I can share with you that we indeed looked at a few options in terms of possibility of visit to another city. But I have just announced today the visit to Portugal before the US visit, and also the visit to Netherlands after the US visit. So as you can see, we are following a calendar, we are following a time schedule, and within that time schedule, this time, I think we do not have the flexibility to arrange visit to another city. So in Washington, D.C., the Prime Minister will have sort of a community interaction, but the details will emerge in a bit of a course of time. I'm sorry, Nani, my apologies. I was surprised actually by your question, and I should have answered the first because you used the term revived. What do you mean by that? Because to my knowledge, and correct me if I am wrong, the last edition of the strategic dialogue took place in August 2016. So it's not even a year, and it's, as you know, it's sort of an annual thing. Now, with the new administration, as you know, the Foreign Secretary has visited United States. And he has had very good interactions with the widest spectrum of senior officials. The US National Security Advisor has visited India, and he has met his counterpart. He has called on Mr. Modi, the Prime Minister. So the two countries have had the engagement, obviously, on the important aspects of not only their own security, but also cooperation in security matters, and also fighting the menaces like terrorism and extremism, not only in our region, but globally. So I think to characterize the situation as if the things are at a standstill and they now need to be revived, as if a motor car has been parked for a long time in a garage and now you need to check the tire pressure or fill in the fuel and all that. Yes. So, yeah. So what will happen is, as I mentioned to you, the conversation between the Prime Minister and the President itself will give the new direction and will set the priorities. And perhaps it will be logical to think of further discussions and further dialogue on strategic matters and other bilateral matters of importance, following from and flowing from that broad direction which the two leaders give. But I might emphasize again that it is perhaps incorrect to think of this dialogue as something which needs to be revived.
Sir. सर ISIS को लेकर और उसके खतरे को लेकर हम ऑलवेज डिस्कस करते रहे हैं, और इंडिया में उसका क्या नेटवर्क है और किस तरह का इम्पैक्ट है उसको भी डिस्कस करते रहे हैं। रशियन मिलिट्री का दावा है कि ISIS का चीफ जो बगदादी है उसे मार गिराया गया है, और सीरिया ने भी इसका खंडन नहीं किया है। हमारे पास क्या सूचना है, और अगर ये घटना सही होती है तो इसके फर्दर इम्पैक्ट को हम कैसे एनालाइज करते हैं?
प्रश्न आपका बहुत अच्छा है, लेकिन मेरे पास जवाब उसका ज़्यादा इसलिए नहीं है क्योंकि आने के कुछ देर पहले ही मैंने इसके बारे में सूचना देखी थी और हमारे पास अभी कोई स्वतंत्र रूप से इसकी घटना की पुष्टि करने का कोई अभी ज़रिया जो भी हमारे पास है या नहीं है उसकी मुझे जानकारी नहीं है कि हमारे पास इसकी स्वतंत्र रूप से पुष्टि है या नहीं। लेकिन रूस ने इस ये कहा है और आतंकवाद के खिलाफ जो लड़ाई है वो पूरे विश्व की लड़ाई है, पूरी मानवता की लड़ाई है। भारत हर उस ताकत से सहयोग करता है और करने के लिए तैयार है जो बिना किसी भेदभाव किए, बिना किसी डिस्क्रिमिनेशन के सारे आतंकवादियों के साथ मुकाबला करता है। और ISIS एक ताकत है जो कि दुनिया को, पूरी मानवता को ख़तरा पैदा करती है। तो हम उसके खिलाफ़ या अन्य आतंकवादी ताकतों के खिलाफ़ जो भी कदम उठाए जा सकते हैं उनका समर्थन करते हैं। पर इस संबंध में मुझे कोई स्पेसिफिक जानकारी इस वक्त नहीं है। मैं कोशिश करूंगा कि जानकारी हासिल कर सकूं। रंजीत।
My question is again on PM's visit to US. How do you describe the visit? A state visit, official visit, or working visit?
I think the answer was contained in our release, press release, and earlier this week.
सर, विजय मल्ल्या को वापस लाने के लिए बहुत सारे इनिशिएटिव लिया जा रहा है, तो कहाँ तक उसको मतलब क्या चीज़ प्रॉब्लम हो रहा है कि जो वहाँ पे लंदन पे और हमारा देश में आपकी तरफ से, क्योंकि उसको जहाँ वो जाता है चोर चोर बोल के लोग पुकारता रहता है। नो द थिंग इज है कि हमारे देश के लोग वहाँ पे मतलब इतना ही है कि देश के वो नहीं हो रहा। इट इज़ अ वेरी एम्ब्रासिंग सिचुएशन।
देखिए, आपके सवाल का जवाब देने में मैं खाली उस तक सीमित रखूंगा अपने जवाब को कि जो वस्तु स्थिति है, जो इस वक्त हालात है वो ये है कि हमने ब्रिटेन की सरकार से, ब्रिटानिया सरकार से ये गुजारिश करी थी कि उनका एक्सट्रेडिशन किया जाए। उसके लिए हमने उनको कागजात दिए थे और वो फॉरेन ऑफिस ने, ब्रिटिश फॉरेन ऑफिस ने अपने होम ऑफिस को दे दिए थे। उसके बाद वहाँ जो एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव और जुडिशियल प्रक्रिया है, जो न्यायिक प्रक्रिया है, प्रशासनिक प्रक्रिया है, वो चल रही है। उस प्रक्रिया के तहत पिछले महीने, जैसा आपको पता है, उनको एक बार गिरफ्तार किया गया था, फिर बेल दी गई थी और उस केस की फिर अगली सुनवाई अभी हाल में ही इसी हफ्ते पहले हुई है। अब उसमें ये कानूनी कार्रवाई है, ये ब्रिटेन के कोर्ट में सब जुडिस है ये मामला, और ये मामला वहाँ का कोर्ट सुन रहा है। उसके लिए जो भी ज़रूरी कागजात हैं वो हमने ब्रिटिश अधिकारियों को दे दिए हैं। वो 2-4 कागज़ नहीं हैं, वो बहुत सारे कागज़ होते हैं ऐसे केसों में, जाहिर सी बात है। तो उनको ब्रिटेन के कोर्ट तक, संबंधित कोर्ट तक पहुँचाया जा रहा है। जब वो कोर्ट तक पहुँचेंगे, मुझे जानकारी नहीं है कि वो आज इस क्षण जब हम बात कर रहे हैं तो पहुँचे हैं कि नहीं पहुँचे। जब वो पहुँचेंगे तो वो प्रक्रिया आगे चलेगी। इधर से कर।
Will there be Indian community events in Lisbon and The Hague during the Prime Minister's visit? And what is the size of the Indian community in both these countries? Thank you.
About Portugal and Netherlands, as far as I am aware, there is at the moment there is no plan to have a community event in either of these places. I am afraid I do not have answer to the question what is the size of the Indian community in Portugal and in Netherlands, but about Netherlands I do know that there is a large, I mean in thousands, there are tens of thousands, there are people of Indian origin associated with different walks of life spheres, but I need to check those figures both for Netherlands and Portugal, and I'll come back to you. Somebody wanted to ask there. Shinjoy, someone else?
So as far as extradition of Mallya is concerned, you've spoken, but there are about 9 or 10 other people India also wants extradited from Britain. One of them is a terrorist, Tiger Hanif, and there are several others. What is the state of those cases?
You are right, Shinjoy. There are certain extradition requests which India has made to the United Kingdom, and the case you mentioned, as far as I can remember, is one of them. I think there are about 9 or 10 cases in all. I do not have individual details for these cases, specific cases, but I will try and obtain this information and get back to you.
Some are very old.
Yeah.
Some were India asked perhaps 7 or 8 years ago, but there's been absolute silence from the British side.
I said I do not unfortunately have at the moment the details in this regard about these cases. I need to have that information, and then whatever I have, I will be happy to share with you. आप लेकिन पूछ चुके हैं एक सवाल, so let me finish with others and then come back to you if there is still time.
सर, एक विषय है जो बार बार पहले आया करता था। पिछले दिनों विदेश मंत्री ने मुलाकात भी की है। मोसूल में फंसे हुए जो भारतीय हैं 39, उनके बारे में कोई फ्रेश जानकारी है जो आप हमसे शेयर करना चाहेंगे? क्या वो जिंदा हैं?
आपका भी एक सवाल हो चुका है कल्लोल, तो unless it is something very radically substantive. All right.
Well, I was told that one of the relatives who came to meet the minister last week was told by the External Affairs Minister that India has sent an official to Iraq because there are reports that authorities in Iraq have detected a group of Indians who are at present trapped in Mosul. Is this correct? And can you substantiate it?
You know that the External Affairs Minister had met the families and representatives last week. I think it was on 8th of June she had a meeting. तो उस मुलाकात के, if I may answer in Hindi because he had asked in Hindi, तो उस मुलाकात के दौरान ये इस पे चर्चा हुई थी, और आप जानते हैं कि हम उन सभी देशों से संपर्क बनाए हुए हैं जो इस मामले में हमारी मदद कर रहे हैं और कर सकते हैं। इसमें स्पेसिफिकली क्या कदम लिए गए हैं वो थोड़ी सेंसिटिविटी है उनको लेकर के, इसलिए मैं इस बारे में यहाँ पे बोलना नहीं चाहता हूँ। लेकिन ये मैं आपको विश्वास दिलाना चाहता हूँ कि जो भी हर संभव कोशिश करी जा रही है वो भारत सरकार कर रही है, और अभी तक हमें, जैसा हम पहले भी इस तरह के ओकेजन्स पे बात कर चुके हैं, हमारी जानकारी यही है कि ये लोग ज़िंदा हैं, क्योंकि हमारे पास कोई जानकारी ऐसी नहीं है जो ये साबित कर सके कि ये लोग ज़िंदा नहीं हैं। तो हम ये इस हिसाब से इस पे आगे चल रहे हैं। सभी ताकतों से हमने संपर्क बनाया हुआ है, इस पे सूचना का आदान प्रदान भी है, बातचीत भी है विशिष्ट ताकतों से, सब आसपास के जो देश हैं जिनसे भी हम बात कर सकते हैं। लेकिन स्पेसिफिक डिटेल्स आई एम अफ्रेड आई मे नॉट बी एबल टू शेयर। मे बी हैव 1-2 लास्ट क्वेश्चंस हियर। पहले पीछे दे दीजिए, फिर आप पूछ लीजिए।
So India recently pulled out of the Shangri-La dialogue in Singapore. Will it cast any clouds on the bilateral relationship, particularly two of the ministers are coming in future on a visit to India?
Look, as far as Shangri-La dialogue is concerned, I don't think that we attend every dialogue everywhere in the world, or we attend every edition of everything. So I don't attach any significance to India not participating in this year's edition of Shangri-La Dialogue. We remain engaged with many think tanks, many such fora all over the world. So I don't see that there is any implication of it, or there is a huge sort of something which can be read into this absence. होता है, sometimes we are unable to attend something, sometimes we cannot do that. So I don't read any significance in it. There are a lot of dialogues which take place all over the world. Some we can attend, some we can't attend. But the relationship with Singapore, as you know, is very strong. It's a very wholesome relationship. It's a very multidimensional relationship. And we are very happy that that relationship is growing very fast. And the leaderships of both countries are greatly invested in strengthening that relationship. So the last question. Geet.
My question is on Zakir Naik's passport. There were reports that NIA has moved to revoke the passport. Can you give us the current status? And also he's trying to seek citizenship of other countries. I would not like to name the countries. Are you in touch with the governments of those countries trying to stop his thing?
On passport and NIA investigation, I would request you to direct your question to Ministry of Home Affairs or other authorities or departments of Government of India. This ministry does not deal with those matters. As far as citizenship of other countries is concerned, I am not aware, I don't have the details of which countries you are referring to. If I have those details, I would be happy to share them with you. Last question, certainly the last question, Geeta. And my staff is raising his hand. I don't know for what. Okay, it's time. Fine, sure. I thought even my colleagues from my division are going to ask question. All right. Thank you, Srinivas. I got your point.
Yeah, just one clarity on Vijay Mallya case. The papers that were submitted by India, did the British authorities ask for the papers? When was this? Could you just share a little bit of details? Are these additional papers, and what kind of papers were sought?
Geeta, these papers were required in connection with the hearing in the extradition matter, which is, as I said, is sub judice in this court in London. And these papers were handed over to the British High Commission last week. As I said, this is a huge bunch of papers. And that is the normal channel, normal diplomatic channel to be used for passing on. Either we can send it to our High Commission, but considering the bulk of these papers, it was best to, and considering the urgency, it was best to hand them over right here. But the soft copies were also sent through electronic means to our High Commission. So this is basically, we use the diplomatic channel to pass on these papers. And that's what I think was done last week, around this time. All right, so now I think I would end this press conference, but with a brief announcement. The announcement is about a special event which the External Affairs Minister is going to chair tomorrow. It will take place at 11 o'clock tomorrow, that is Saturday. This will be an event in which the External Affairs Minister will launch a special portal for diaspora. You know that the Ministry of External Affairs, which now has the merged Ministry of Overseas Indian Affairs with it, has been running a program for the diaspora to know India well and to learn about the rich Indian heritage. So the External Affairs Minister will be launching a portal for that tomorrow at 11 o'clock, also here in GNB. Also, the Minister will be making some important announcement about the passport, about the post office passport seva kendras. As you know, we have announced the first phase earlier this year, under which 86 offices, POPSKs, were to be opened. 52 of them have been opened. Now the time is there to go into the next phase and expansion. So the External Affairs Minister will be making this announcement, and we expect also the presence of the Minister of State Independent Charge for Posts, who has been requested to also attend this event tomorrow. So this is basically what will take place tomorrow at 11 o'clock. So I request all of you, you are invited very cordially to attend that event, which will be presided over by the Minister of External Affairs. Of course, we'll issue a formal media advisory also through SMS in that regard. Thank you very much for your time today afternoon. Look forward to seeing you.